All right, let's dive into this explainer. Today, we're looking at how to literally hijack social media's most addictive tricks and use them to build powerful daily learning habits. If you're an educator, an app developer, or a teacher designing mobile tools for your classroom, you already know the struggle of keeping students engaged. Well, we're breaking down this fascinating concept from Luis von Ahn, the creator of Duolingo, to figure out exactly how to make the hard work of learning feel completely irresistible.
So let's start with the grand vision here. Imagine giving equal access to high-quality education to everyone on Earth, no matter their income. The smartphone actually makes this logistically possible, right? I mean, a massive portion of the global population already has one in their pocket. But we immediately hit a massive roadblock. When you deliver education through a phone, you aren't just competing with other educational tools. No, you're going head-to-head with some of the most addictive, highly engineered digital drugs humanity has ever created. We're talking TikTok, Instagram, and mobile games.
Which brings us to a brilliant analogy for this core problem. Delivering education on a smartphone is basically like hoping someone will willingly eat their healthy broccoli when you've placed the world's most decadent, delicious dessert right next to it. Social media is that dessert, education is the broccoli. So if you want people to actually learn, you can't just make the content available and hope for the best. You have to somehow make that broccoli taste exactly like dessert.
To understand how we actually solve this, we need to look at the staggering scale of the audience. Right now, there are roughly 2 billion people worldwide actively trying to learn a foreign language. That's both inside and outside of traditional schools. 2 billion, it's a massive global desire, but it begs the question, why languages? Why not start by gamifying math or, I don't know, computer science? Well, the crucial point here is economic. About 80% of those 2 billion people are learning English, and the reason is purely financial. Look, if you learn math, it doesn't automatically make you wealthier overnight, right? You usually have to learn physics, become an engineer, and then maybe you see a financial return. But language acquisition is totally unique. As von Ahn points out, if you're a waiter in a poor country and you learn English, you can immediately become a waiter at a higher-end hotel and instantly make more money. It's a direct, immediate boost to your income potential.
So, that brings us to Section 1, the gamification philosophy, or stealing the social media playbook.
To capture that massive audience and keep them off social media, educational tools literally have to steal from the social media playbook. We have to take the exact same psychological techniques that keep people mindlessly scrolling and apply them directly to education. For any teachers out there designing mobile classroom tools, definitely take notes here. The first major technique, the streak. Now, a streak is simply a prominent counter measuring how many consecutive days that user has engaged with your product. It sounds incredibly basic, I know, but it taps heavily into a psychological concept called loss aversion. People absolutely dread seeing their hard-earned progress reset to zero. In a classroom context, teachers can use this exact mechanic to get students to show up, do the work, and study every single day.
And just look at the sheer power of this psychology in action. On Duolingo alone, there are over 3 million daily active users who boast a streak longer than 365 uninterrupted days. 3 million people haven't missed a single day of language learning in over a year. I mean, that is the exact kind of daily learning habit educators dream of. And it is all driven by a simple number on a screen.
And just for a quick, really fascinating cultural aside, the data on habit formation varies wildly around the world. Users in Japan actually have the discipline to maintain the longest average streaks globally. On the flip side, Latin America boasts the historically shortest streaks. As von Ahn, who is actually from Guatemala, joked during his presentation, Latin America might have shorter streaks, but they sure are fun. It's just a great reminder that, while psychological triggers are universal, cultural context absolutely shapes how users interact with these mobile tools.
Moving right along to Section 2, the art of notifications, timing and guilt.
Now, notifications are tricky. They can easily become spammy and annoying, making users delete an app entirely. But with an educational product, users actually want to be reminded to learn. The art is figuring out how to do it effectively. So let me ask you this. If you had millions of dollars and a highly sophisticated AI system analyzing user behavior, when do you think that AI would determine as the absolute perfect moment to ping a user? Really think about it. What complex algorithm unlocks human attention?
Well, here is the surprisingly simple punchline. After all that sophisticated AI computing, the algorithm figured out that the optimal time to send a notification is exactly 24 hours after the user last opened the app. That's it. The logic is beautifully straightforward. If you had free time yesterday at 3 p.m. to study, you are highly likely to be free today at exactly 3 p.m. It's a brilliant insight for anyone designing classroom tools. Don't overcomplicate the timing, just mirror the user's existing schedule.
Of course, eventually people do start ignoring regular reminders. To avoid being spammy, the app is programmed to stop sending notifications after 7 days of inactivity. But right before they stop completely, they send this message. It's basically a passive-aggressive breakup notification. And you know what users do when they read, "We'll stop sending these for now"? They immediately open the app. It reliably guilts people right back into the habit. This specific emotional trigger is incredibly effective because it personifies the app. Users genuinely feel like the green owl mascot has personally given up on them. This pushy, passive-aggressive little mascot has become so culturally relevant that it's spawned countless internet memes and even Saturday Night Live skits. People joke about the owl breaking into their house if they forget their Spanish lesson. But it proves a larger point. Giving your educational tool a personality, even a slightly demanding one, builds an incredibly memorable emotional connection with the user.
All right, Section 3, the 80% rule, the power of meaning.
Let's pivot for a second to a crucial reality check. We've talked about streaks and passive-aggressive notifications, but honestly, can an educational app truly be 100% as mindlessly entertaining as celebrity gossip, cat videos, or a viral dance trend? The short answer is no, because ultimately you are still asking the user to do the hard work of learning. But this formula is incredibly empowering for educators and designers. You don't actually need to beat social media at its own game entirely. The app only needs to be about 80% as engaging as TikTok. Why? Because the remaining 20% is covered by the user's internal motivation. People naturally have a genuine desire to improve themselves and do something meaningful.
Just look at the contrast here. When you mindlessly scroll on social media for 2 hours, you usually close the app feeling hollow, like you just wasted a huge chunk of your day. But gamified education provides internal satisfaction. You get actual meaning out of it. That desire for self-improvement is the secret ingredient that makes these stolen social media techniques actually work for education. The engagement tricks get them in the door for sure, but the meaningfulness of the content is what keeps them there.
Which brings us to our final section. Section 4, the future of repetitive learning, expanding the blueprint.
So what does this all mean for the future? We can synthesize this powerful combination of streaks, smart notifications, and internal motivation and apply it far beyond just languages. This blueprint can gamify literally any subject that requires heavy repetition. Think about elementary school math or learning how to read. Subjects where mastering the basics requires thousands of tiny repetitions are perfectly suited for mobile classroom tools. We can literally transform screen time from a societal negative into a massive mechanism for global equality. So here's my direct challenge to you. Whether you're building the next great educational app, structuring a digital lesson plan, or just trying to build a better habit for yourself, are you making your broccoli taste like dessert? And more importantly, have you done your daily learning lesson today? Thanks for joining this explainer. Keep analyzing, keep learning, and we'll see you next time.